Today I'm going to tie a fly and teach you guys how to tie a fly called a woolly bugger. And here's a box full of woolly buggers. It's a super easy fly to tie, and let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a streamer hook. And today I'm going to use a size 8 streamer hook just so I don't have anything bigger than that, but I'm going to use the biggest one I have just so it's easier for you guys to see. And so there's some thread on it. Don't mind the thread, but this is a streamer hook. It's pretty much just a long shanked hook for fly tying. Then you're just gonna put it in your vise like any other fly. Okay, so now once you got that, you're gonna take some thread. Today I'm gonna be using 70 denier black thread, and pretty much what denier is pretty much, so the higher the denier, the stronger the thread will be. 70 denier is fairly well, it's actually very not super weak, but it's meant for smaller flies. I probably should be using a higher denier, but I've tied woolly buggers this size with 70 denier a lot. So now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start wrapping on your thread right past the eyelet and then go all the way down to the end of the shank of the hook. And cut off the tag end when you're done, which I already did. Okay, so now what you want to do is take some marabou, which today I'm going to use white. I usually use black or a more natural color, but I'm going to use white so it's easier to see. So take off a nice fluffy feather from it. This isn't very fluffy, but find a good feather from it, pull it off. It's coming off. There we go. And also, you can also use 2 feathers if you want a bit bushier of a tail, but I'm going to use 1. And then measure it out until it's about the same length as your hook, maybe even a little longer. I like it a little longer. So now that you did that, now that you measure it, take it, set it right where it was before, and then just start tying it on. Dang it. I know it looked weird when I sucked on it, but that's how you do it. And there's an example of why I should probably be using stronger thread, because my thread just broke. So if you pull too hard with this, it'll break, but it's an easy fix. I'd recommend 100 denier for this, but 70 denier works. You just can't pull super hard, but it's okay. It's an easy fix. But anyways, you're just gonna take it, like I said earlier, measure it, then tie it on. Give it a couple nice tight wraps, and then you're gonna take your bigger scissors and just snip off the tag end. And then now there's that little fluff right there. You're just gonna want to wrap that all down. Okay, so now what you want to do is take some chenille. This is some olive green sparkle-ish chenille. You know what, I'm going to actually use a little brighter one so it shows up on camera better. So just trim off. I usually like to do more than enough for your fly, so it's just easier to wrap on. Then what I did there is take off some of the fibers at the front, so there's a bit of extra just thread there, so it's easier to tie on. And then tie it on right by the marabou you tied on. Then you're going to take some medium wire for fly tying, and I know it's probably hard to see on camera, but it's pretty much like jewelry wire. You can use that too, but yeah. And then take it and lay it down along the whole length of the hook, and then start tying it on and wrap all the way down the whole length of the hook. And the reason you need this way, also just let it hang out right there, and you'll see why later. And this also adds weight to the fly, so you can have it sink. But then, after you got that tied on, you're going to wrap all the way to the front of the hook. And then you can take your chenille. If you have a vise that twists and turns like that, you can just do it like that. But if you don't, just wrap it on manually with your hands. But since I have a vise that turns, I'm going to just do this. And then stop once you get about 1/4 inch away from the eye of your hook, and then cinch it down, give it a couple nice tight wraps, and then trim the tag end off. Now what you're going to want to do is take some woolly bugger hackle or just regular dry fly hackle. I like woolly bugger hackle because it doesn't float, because I want this fly to sink. And this is just regular dry fly hackle. Comes in a lot of different colors, but pretty much the only colors you really need for tying dry flies are brown and grizzly. And you can tie a lot of different flies with it. But anyways, you're gonna find a feather and then put it on the hook. See how much it flares out. I like to have it flare out about a little smaller than 1/2 inch. So then you're going to take it, pluck the feather off, and then strip it off like that. And then strip off the bottom, leaving just a little bit on the bottom side more than the top side. So when you tie it on, when you also just trim off the tag end. So when you tie it on, it's easier to wrap on. Trim off the tag end once you get wrapped on. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to start wrapping. Give it a couple good wraps at the front so it creates a head. And I'm actually going to take my hackle pliers so it's easier to wrap on. And just wrap it on, spiraling it. once you get to the marabou, you're going to take your wire and then wrap it over the hackle. And that way it can't get out of, it just stays on. Then you're going to take your wire and wrap it in between the fibers of the hackle and also wiggle it a bit as you're going through. It helps with not pushing down all the fibers of hackle so they stay sticking up. Okay, so once you get to the front, then you're going to tie it off. Trim it. And that's pretty much how you make a woolly bugger, except you're just going to make a nice head on it just by giving it a couple nice good wraps at the front. And then you're going to take your whip finish tool. I will make a video sometime how to use a whip finish tool. This is pretty much just a tool that ties a knot at the front of your fly so all the thread stays on there. Give it a couple good wraps and then cinch it tight, break it, and that's how you tie a woolly bugger. And this is what it looks like up close. That is a woolly bugger fly. You know what? I'm going to get something here. This will make it show up better. That is a woolly bugger fly. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed.